All right, Ruthless fans. Before getting into this episode review, I apologize for being late. This week has been insane on so many levels, and I know this seems a bit selfish to ask, but could you spread just a little bit of positive vibes and prayers my way? I'm really stressing out over here. Thankfully, at the moment, no, you know, big rioting or looting in my area, but technology has not been my friend over the past 48 hours. I got a new iPod. Now that started messing up the same way. I believe it's called ghost typing when you hit a button and it does 50 other things. Now my laptop is malfunctioning and yeah, it's a lot to go through right now. So bear with me. I will get these videos up as soon as possible. I just know that over the next couple weeks, I want to do my best to make it. I'll leave it at that. So let's just jump into the Devil's Brew. We pick up where we left off. Nisi is begging for mercy. The elder mother isn't having it. She's been labeled as, "You're a deserter, spreading all these lies about us and all this evil about what we do." And basically, elder mother gives Ruth, I believe, like acid and pretty much pushes her to do it. And is like, "Wait, are you second guessing yourself? Should I tell the highest?" But Ruth goes ahead, does what she does, and basically pours the acid all over Nisi, and it burns her. And then they step out, and elder mother's like, "If someone offends you, you offend them back." And I'm thinking, well, if somebody says something about me bad, I don't know if that's justification for me pouring acid on them, but whatever floats your boat. So they go back to the kitchen to work on preparing the food. Tally sees that Ruth is visibly upset. She's basically like shaking over what had happened. Apparently, Nisi wasn't dead, but obviously she's been mutilated. And Ruth is like, I need to go check on her. And Tally's like, "No, you did it. No, you're an elder now. You can't show any form of weakness or concern. Just keep moving forward." And it's almost like Ruth is worried about what she did to Nisi the same way Lily was after she had shot Bobby on the ovals. Like, "I just shot a man. How is he? Where is he?" Ruth is kind of the same way with Nisi. I want to go check on her, but Tally is like, "Nope, you can't do that." So then we go over to the highest. Elder Mother's checking on him. Basically says that Ruth, it was hard for her, but hey, she passed the trust test. And she's worried about the highest and the fact that he still looks uneasy, uncertain, and not the calm, cool, collected person he used to be. And she tells him about the fact that, hey, we have someone named Melinda. She's going to be used to infiltrate the police station. There's this one police officer, not too bright. I believe his name is Poke. And then from there we have, Melinda going, but that happens soon enough. Lynn's at her house folding laundry. She's calling Daikon, talking about how she feels unhappy. And Daikon's like, "Oh, I felt that." And basically tells her about the fact that most people who come to the compound are those who are unhappy with their current lives. And they come to find peace and happiness. They just walk away from everything and they are in heaven. And during the conversation, Daikon seems to be looking up something on his computer. I don't know if he's like trying to look up information on Lynn, like in regards to her husband and everything. But he pretty much asks her details about certain things and is like, "Oh no, my husband, he's good at figuring things out and asking questions. He's a psychologist and his name is Malcolm." And I'm wondering if she's really just keeping Brian's identity a secret on purpose because of the fact that he's FBI. Or let's say if she happened to say Brian and yeah, he's FBI, then maybe Daikon would have put two and two together and say, "You know what? Maybe her husband is the same guy that was talking with Andrew. Interesting." And then he's like, "Hey, if I talk to the highest, I really want to get you approved to come up for a weekend. And if you like it, then you could stay." But they pretty much do the same back and forth they do in every episode, and then Daikon has to leave. We go to Melinda and Elder Mother. Briefly in the kitchen, basically, Elder Mother says, "Melinda, come with me." And then Tally tries to comfort Ruth and tells her to, just hold it together for the time being. Then we go back to the Elder Mother and Melinda, who changes clothes to just a regular street outfit in order to infiltrate the police station. And the Devil's Brew, in reference to the title of the episode, is a perfume. It's "Yo, it's a brew to lure the white devil." I'm like, man, that was actually very good wording. I like that. So basically, just go over to the police station, talk to someone named Poke, just say your story about how you left your boyfriend, you need some help, and get them to trust you by any means necessary. So then we go back to Brian, who's back at the police station. So he goes back to Rockwell, Virginia. And I was like, okay, are we going to find out what the results of the blood test that he took of the sheriff? But apparently the sheriff was out for the day. He has diabetes. So I think he was out for his dialysis. And the female officer in the station, I forget her name. Is it Leslie or something? I forgot. I know I've said it in another video, but I cannot remember her name. She made some bad coffee, but they joke about that. And, you know, it was like, oh, I'm surprised. I wonder how long you're staying around. You know, most cops come through here, you know, just to get a little bit of credibility or stuff on their resume. Then they move on to bigger and better things. And then Poke's like, oh, you ain't going to be sheriff. Pretty much, you know, saying I'm going to be the next sheriff, not you. And then the cop talks to Brian about, oh, how's your wife? And here's some apartments, you know, if you're looking to stay. Oh, the sheriff tells us everything. So I feel like the sheriff probably told the other deputies about Brian, but not the fact he's FBI. Pretty much, you know, just like a story about how, oh, he's going to be staying in town for a while. He has a wife and this and that. But the sheriff didn't tell key details about the Rakadushi investigation. That's what I think happened there. Then we go to Sarah and Mac, and this is the part of the episode where I'm like, okay, I think we're getting a lot of characters making or about to make dumb decisions, but I understand it's to get the story going in a certain way, but I feel like characters are making dumb mistakes. Like Sarah wants, okay, at first she's like, you know what, Mac, I thought about what you said. Maybe the photos were doctored or, you know, manipulated, and Andrew really wasn't with those guys. But you're telling me you want to go back to the compound by yourself to get Andrew. And it's like, what are you doing? Why are you going to do that? If anything, you're going to get your husband killed. And Mac, basically because Mac isn't able to give Sarah the answer she wants because he's uncertain about whether or not Andrew's compromised. But in his last message, he's like, I have to go off the grid because they're going to get suspicious. So basically, Andrew could be playing it very well, like Brian told Mac. But no, Sarah wants to go back up there by herself. And I'm like, Daikon literally said, don't go up there again. And I don't know. Sarah, come on now. So Mac calls Brian saying that Sarah's on her way there. Brian actually said, hey, I'm going to go to the compound by myself to just use it as a front to catch him off guard to say, oh, I have some follow-up questions. And I'm thinking, Brian, I understand what you're doing, but if the compound has all the guns and everything you think that they actually have undercover, which they do obviously, what are you going to do by yourself? What are you going to do by yourself? So then Mac's like, please just wait for me to send backup. But basically he's like, fine, how about this? Sarah's on her way up there. What I want you to do is intercept her. I will let you know when she's in the area. Man, I was getting frustrated watching this scene. I'm just like, why are these characters doing this stuff? So Malcolm then intercepts Sarah in the hallway and takes her to his office telling, you know, hey, I still want you. And it's like, no, it's over between us. Cindy is suspicious about you cheating. You need to go to your wife. Leave me alone. But then he starts kissing on her neck and all. And she's like, leave me. No, we can't do this. But he's like, hey, your husband is gone. Pretty much like, wait, Malcolm, what are you saying? And it's like, hey, can I come by over your place at 7? I'll tell you everything. But Sarah just leaves. And, you know, Malcolm is kind of pissed off. Next thing you know, Mac calls Malcolm into his room. Mac calls Malcolm into his office and tells him, hey, I need you to follow Sarah. She's going back to the compound. Oh, Malcolm was way too excited. What I'm thinking might happen is Malcolm might make it so Sarah sees how far gone Andrew is in order to get Sarah pushed more to him. That's what I think might happen. So at the moment, we have Brian, who's on standby. He was going to the compound anyway, but he's on standby now for when Sarah gets close enough to the area so he knows when to go in. And then you have Malcolm tailing Sarah, who it doesn't know that he's following her. This is not good. Now we have yet another player because Cynthia comes over to check on her cousin saying, hey, let's go to lunch. Lynn doesn't want to do it. And she comes over to vent about Malcolm and she's ready to get drunk again. But she's saying, hey, I want you to meet Sarah. I want you to join our support group for wives of, you know, people who are in the FBI because we need to support each other since, we're all going through a lot. Lynn finally gets dressed and comes back down, but it turns out Sarah can't come to lunch because Cynthia calls her and she's like, now's not a good time. So obviously we know Sarah's headed back up to the compound at that moment when she's on the phone. So then we have Lynn pissed off about Cynthia, and she is like, you know what, fine, I'm going to leave if you don't go home. So then Lynn leaves, and I think it's safe to say, or safe to assume, that, you know what, Lynn is going to the compound because she tells her cousin that I'm divorcing Brian, I'm done with this. And she's like, is he cheating? No, I'm just done with all this. And Cynthia calls her out for being stupid. Since she's like, you know what, I'm gone. So I think Lynn is just going to the compound. So we got Lynn who's going, we have Sarah who's going, who's being followed by Malcolm, and then Malcolm who's on standby to make a move when Sarah gets close to the area. So the next episode, or whenever they get there, I'm going to guess within the next couple episodes, it's going to get really crazy really fast. Then we have Melinda, who goes to the police station. She's requesting a place for them to talk in private, and she talks about how her boyfriend's stalking her and the fact that she needs help. So she gets Polk's personal number, and he tries to say, well, hey, you're staying in your car, but I know of a lot of places in town that have free rooms. Let's see if we can get you some assistance. But she's brushing off his, advances. So, well, not advance, his suggestion. She wants to make it one-on-one. So he's like, fine, I'm going on my lunch break. Why don't you come with me? So let's see here. Daikon comes in to see that Ruth is seeing Nisi, and then he tries to, get her out of there. And apparently Nisi's dead. So then Ruth is being told to leave over and over again. And we have Daikon trying to comfort her. It's like, I've never heard anyone before. And he isn't falling for it. So basically Ruth is trying to seduce Daikon while there's a dead corpse hanging in that very room. Okay, so then we go back to Polk's house. He and Melinda are eating lunch. And she's putting on a big act. Just the fact that, I never met a nice man like you in a while before. And I think I like Polk in this episode for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're actually seeing a more softer, vulnerable side of him, as opposed to the dopey, arrogant, rude character we've seen up until this point. The fact that, everybody in this town thinks I'm a joke. It's just little moments like that show the realness of these characters. And given what's been going on in the past couple weeks, to actually see a white police officer interact with a black person in a kind way was good to see. Now, I know some people might say, well, Jeremy, no, Polk was just, doing what he was doing because Melinda's attractive. No, if you go back to the police station scene where they're talking, Polk was literally doing his job and being nice to another human being. And I like that. It wasn't about him finding Melinda attractive or whatever. It's like, no, it's the fact that somebody came in there, needed help, and he was going to do what he could to protect this citizen. I really like that. I really, really like that, especially in a small town like that where they don't seem to be too kind towards those who are different or weird. So I really like that. And yes, I know this episode was filmed back in 2019, so this was way before what's going on now, but I think it was refreshing to see that. So I definitely give the episode points for that. So then Melinda moves things quickly by going down on Polk, which I think was a very interesting edit because they cut from Polk groaning and over to Daikon and Ruth, who shoves her off of him. It's like, you're evil, you're wicked, because basically it reminds me of that movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, however you say it, and then that song Hellfire, basically the bishop or whatever his name is, that Hellfire song, which I didn't even realize until I got older was a song about a man who was horny for the gypsy. And I was like, wow, that's basically Daikon. It's like, I know the ways of the Rakumas, but you're a temptress. And then it gets very awkward very quickly. And then the question is he going to turn her over to the highest? Next thing you know, boom, the highest and the elder mother roll in there. What is going on here? And then the episode ends. This is very, very interesting, guys. So I will say again, I hate the fact that characters are getting ready to make dumb decisions, but on the flip side, there were some very good moments in the episode. So I'm going to score the episode at 8.5 out of 10. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. But overall, yeah, The Devil's Brew, I'll watch it again. I definitely watch it again. So this was episode 11, guys. I definitely suggest getting BET Plus if you haven't done so already, or you might just wait until the end of the season and binge it all at once. This is a 24 episode season, I believe, so we have 13 episodes left. But let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell notification. That way you keep up when I post new content. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description. And shout out to the patrons on Patreon. And you can donate to the channel on PayPal or Cash App if you ever would like to. But again, you watching this video helps me out in more ways than you can imagine. So make sure you hit the thumbs up button. And I'll talk to you soon.